Why, hello there! How are you today? Awesome Soul here, and welcome to another drone video. Now this time, with more drones. Yes, that is right. This is a new version of the demo, and if you are a backer of one of the higher tiers, you have access to it currently. Next demo should roll out for lower tiers, and so on and so forth. But yeah, pretty cool. You can also change the color of your drone, which is very nice. I do quite like either this paint scheme or this one. I also kind of like the, where is it here? This one, the digital camouflage. It's not really camouflage, I guess. I mean, maybe some certain interiors it would work well, but this one would work well on a snow map. But yeah. Overall, this is the best drone, at least I think it's the best drone. Or well, I guess it's my favorite drone out of the batch. Not the fastest one, there are faster drones, but it is by far the most nimble, and you can easily dip, dive, duck, and dodge out of pretty much any situation. If you're being homed in on by a missile, I could totally see you easily getting out of this situation. Like, here's the movement of this thing, and then go over to this guy here. Very slow acceleration, doesn't turn too well. If you turn, you'll lose a lot of speed. Yeah. Although, it is really interesting to note that pretty much every drone has a lot of different quirks to it. Like, you can see when you're actually able to build drones, you can play around with a huge amount of stats and try to make your own perfect drone, sort of like suit it to your own playstyle. But yeah, if this is an indication of how tiny drones work, I might actually main tiny drones when the game comes out. But that's not what I'm here to do. Update aside, we are here to build this map. This, of course, is the Arena building series. It doesn't really have a name, I guess. But yeah, we're here to build a map. And this area is really the last spot on the map that we haven't really touched. I mean, there's this area and a couple little tiny areas that I really need to address, I guess. But I don't know. I'll come back and edit this as well. But yes, this area is something that needs to be worked on. And what I had in mind is, no, not another cave, but this one is going to be a large base, kind of like this one. Although it's going to be sort of more of a storage-oriented base with different multi-tiered levels. And as usual, I'm kind of going in blind. I have a basic idea, but nothing too crazy. So, once I figure out a starting point, I will rejoin you guys. So, first things first, what I wanted to do is attach this section of the map more easily to this section, seeing as they're both pretty close and really these stairs didn't lead anywhere, so I figured I would actually end up using them, because on the other side, if we take a look here, they don't really lead anywhere. You just kind of have to get out and walk into the forest. I mean, it's not terrible, you kind of have a basic path. But yeah, I figured since we have the complex going up on this side, might as well use it. And I think a bridge would kind of be pretty cool. Although, underneath, I think I'll put some pillars. And I might actually raise up this section here, just because I did want to keep it flat-ish. I don't know, I might do something down here too. We'll see. But yeah, other than that, this is going to be the main landing area, where I guess crates go. Although, that's another good point. How are we going to get the crates in? I've sort of opted for, rather, a lot of helicopter pads, sort of to easily get around. I mean, this is the only textured building. These need to be retextured. But I think I might add one here. I don't know where, but I will add it somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's no easy way to get around in this little complex here. But, I don't know. Good pair of hiking shoes never hurt anyone. Looking good. I think that's pretty solid so far. So far, no actual buildings yet, but I think we're going to have one up here. And, perhaps a helicopter pad down there, but that seems a little bit unsafe. You'd kind of want the blades not getting too close to the bridge. Yeah, that seems very unsafe. So maybe have a building down here, and then a helicopter pad up there. Or helicopter pad up here. But then how would you get the goods down? Maybe by winch? I don't know. Maybe they're not helicopters at all. This is the future, after all. But they've just kept with the moniker of H for helicopter? I don't know. I'm asking too many questions. It's time to build. Okay, so just checking in again, and I don't exactly know where this is going to lead. I'm not sure what the point of this stairway is, so I think I'll just leave it here for now, and I may or may not come back and revisit it. But in the meantime, let's raise up this area over here. Nothing too crazy, because I do want to have this balcony as a, well, balcony. And let's try and smooth it out so it just looks a little bit better. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. There we go. Cool. So we've got a nice little balcony where I guess the foreman or whatever can look over and make sure everything is in order as far as items go. And then perhaps they would have workers transfer them into the main warehouse here, because I do have a room set up that I was kind of thinking. Yeah, this one here. This would be for like small but also important items. So those would get transferred up to here. And like I said, don't really know where this is going to go. Maybe it's just going to go nowhere, much like how this stairway goes to nowhere. But it makes sense as to why it would be here. You know, human workers would need to climb these stairs. But yeah, this building, I'm not too sure. And then I was thinking about having another row of sort of outer areas, and then maybe another building. But we'll see. Again, I'm really going along with the flow here. So here's what I have for the building. My one complaint with the demos so far is there's just not really enough variety when it comes to building blocks for actual structures. When it comes to forests and caves and all that stuff, it's perfect. Fantastic setup, and you can do a lot of things. But when it comes to this, you're very, very limited. It's very cubic, and especially when you're trying to make a roof, there's not a lot of parts that really mesh well together. So you end up with these really weird, flat, pointy mishmash kind of things if you want to try and differentiate this roof from another roof. And even any roof is, quite frankly, hard to make. So yeah, hopefully that will be addressed. Pretty sure it's a stretch goal to get more blocks, but I don't know if we'll get a few more and then the stretch goal will add a ton more. Hopefully we'll just get at least a couple more. That would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, we have a unnamed and, I guess, unpurposed outpost. I don't know what this will be. And another complaint I have is there's not a huge amount of interior decorations either. Really, I guess the big focus that I would address to the developers is improve on the buildings in general. But that's enough rambling about that. Let's get back to building. Okay, so we now have another building up here, and we've got this one here, which I don't think I really talked about. Probably gonna be another one of those fancy broadcast towers, kind of like this, but we will see. Maybe on a smaller scale. Now, what I did originally have planned was to have the door here, but sadly, if I try to do that, it'll just delete the stairs. So, I'm gonna have this as a entrance, kind of, like a covered entrance. I think that'll work out pretty well. And I'll most likely have this as a multi-storied building. Not sure how tall I want to have it, but I do want this to be the big main centerpiece, and I might actually expand this building slightly in the future. But for now, we need to get back over to here and figure out what exactly we're going to do. I'd say that's a pretty good spot for a helicopter pad, wouldn't you? Seeing as this is probably going to be more of a executive hideout kind of area, seeing as it's the farthest back from the main section. Like if you came in for an attack, you would come in here, work your way up here, and have to work your way up here, and then up here again, and then you would get to this building. Or you could just fly a swarm of drones in, since this is, well, drone. But yeah, I think thematically it works, although, honestly, I don't know. I guess we'd have to go with that whole winch thing when it comes to dropping off crates and all that jazz, but I mean, I think I'm overthinking this, going too deep into the lore of helicopters dropping items. Yeah, think that's enough. Anyways, let's go back and finish off a couple things and rejoin you as I always do. I'd say now's a pretty good time to test this out in our fancy new tiny drone, one that can very easily fit into tight spaces. So up here, because, well, purely because I feel I don't really use this part enough, and that is the vent part, kind of wanted to try it out. So we've got this, and these things that don't currently work. If they did work, though, our drone would be more than small enough to fit through. So supposedly they're going to open, but that feature's not in the game yet. Really, there's not a huge amount of purpose up there. I kind of just wanted to add some sort of ventilation system without adding another one of those spinning fan things, because I use those far too much. But I mean, they do work pretty well. They serve their purpose. Yeah, coming along pretty well. I think now I'll add off to this tower and see what other ideas I can come up with. Looking pretty good, I'd say. Tried to go with a different design than any of the other ones. Tried to switch it up as much as I possibly can. There are a lot of similarities between them, but, I mean, you're gonna get that. But that's okay. So, now, I think what I do need to do is decorate a little bit. This area is kind of barren, and, well, actually there's bridge supports I need to do, a few other touch-ups, and then go into the details. So I've tried my best to get this thing to fit in, but it's just not going to work. So, what I think I might actually do with this area down here is use it for the really big shipping containers. I think that would be not such a bad idea, because I do want to try and work these into the map. I just don't have a proper space for them. And, yeah, I could totally see it working down there. figured I'd also add a couple of trees as well. Got some basic items down. I don't want to go too crazy, because, one, there is an item limit, and two, the more I add, the more it's just going to take to load into the map. I mean, high-end PCs like mine have no problem loading in, and the framework they've built for map loading is really impressive. So even on, like, mid-end, you probably shouldn't take too long to load in. But regardless, figured I'd be on the safe side. Have a couple of pipes up here, random items up here, and then your bigger / medium items here, and then of course, all of your explosive, or possible explosive items that you'd want to section off from everything else. Now, the last thing, like I said, I still do want to have this large crate area down here. Just need to figure out how big I actually need to make it. But yeah, once I get that planned out, shouldn't be too much longer, and then we're more or less done this build. There we go. Makes for an interesting addition. I think I'll go ahead and outline that just with some of these wall decoration pieces. Or at least they're called wall decorations, but I've been using them for anything but, honestly. Just trying to think of the best way to do this. Maybe something like this. Just sort of to denote that something large goes here. I guess this works. Sort of like a caution marker tape for when these things get dropped off. They know where to line them up, so it will, or I guess you can fit multiple ones in here without having too much of a problem. Yeah, I think that works actually. Not too shabby. Nice. Now, the only thing I'm a little concerned about is the fact that it kind of obscures the bridge. It's not as noticeable to the player, like the player's eyes are kind of drawn to the crates and not really to the bridge. But that might change once I decide to pick a different color / texture for it. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm curious, what do you guys think about these crates? Do they stand out too much? Or could they be salvageable if I change up the colors? I don't know. For now, I'll keep them, and if you guys kind of vote against it, then maybe I'll move them elsewhere. I don't know. But yeah. That is more or less the map. I think we're pretty much done here. I'm just gonna go ahead and add one of these guys. There we go. I'm sort of using these as a exit area. Let people know that, oh, gotta be careful going off into the wilderness, kind of, because I got them set up over here where there's no guardrail, and over here where there's no guardrail. So if like somebody wanted to go explore this cave, they could do that. Obviously in their off time though, because you know, workers gotta work. But yeah, I think actually, you know what, I was considering maybe not doing it, but I will finish up here with all the trees and whatnot. So one sec, I'll be right back. And there we have it. I've also baked the terrain, so the shadows look a lot more convincing, and everything looks all that much better. And obviously, in drone mode, the small little detailed rocks show up as well. Also put down a couple of random rocks, like that one there. And I might actually do that throughout the map, too. There are a bunch of little touch-ups that I have planned that I may or may not do in a video. I probably won't do them on screen, I might actually do them off screen, but just give you a final fly around. Perhaps, maybe, if you guys are interested? I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are on this series in general, I guess. But yeah, I think this map turned out pretty well, or this section of the map at least. Although I do have to go back through here. There is a part of me that kind of wants to wait for more parts to show up, just so I can decorate a lot easier. But, I don't know. Then again, I can't really do much, because I got like a table and a couple of crates and stuff. So, yeah, you know what? I think I will wait to do the majority of the interiors. But yeah, overall, I would say it's coming along quite nicely. We're getting pretty close to wrapping it up. It's gonna be kind of sad, but I might just start on another map. Who knows? Oh, yeah, by the way, if you're watching this when the video goes live, there is an actual contest, sort of, on the D.R.O.N.E Discord server, where you can possibly have your map featured in the final version of the game. So very cool there. If you do not know the D.R.O.N.E Discord, just simply go to D.R.O.N.E.thegame.com. There'll be a link to all their social status there. Yeah, I think that is pretty much everything I want to say and everything I want to show off. So, with that, guys, I of course have been the Awesome Soul. I thank you all so very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.